Right now, I'm going to show you how to make this wood slat accent wall. Beforehand, this room was a guest bedroom, spare bedroom, junk space slash office, but now I transformed it into this lovely workspace, a creative space, and it's a really fun place to be. So for this, I'm going to walk you through it step by step. My wife and I did this project over the weekend. The first thing that we did was paint the wall black. We used a matte paint with a blue undertone, so it's not just a solid black. Then for the wood slats, you've got a couple different options here. So you can go to the hardware store. These specifically are 1 inch by 2 inch by 8 feet. Of course, I measured this wall first from the floor to the ceiling. It is 8 feet, so this would work, but I did need to cut them down a little bit, about an inch, inch and a half, because I wanted them to rest on the baseboards in this room. So we were able to fit these wood slats in our car. We've got an SUV, a Mazda CX-5. Once we got them home, we did have to pre-treat them, stain them, and then seal them. So for the wood, of course, first I cut them all to size, all to the right length, laid them all out, and applied the wood conditioner. Now, wood conditioner is really important because it allows the stain to soak in evenly. Without the wood conditioner, you could end up with spotting, spots, different ways, or blotches, excuse me. The wood stain will just soak in unevenly. So the wood conditioner sits for about 10 minutes, you wipe off any excess, and then it's time to stain it. We used a darker wood stain. You can use whatever stain that you want. This is your project. You apply the wood stain with either an old rag or a brush. Again, you let it sit for 1 to 3 minutes. Then you wipe off any excess with an old rag. You could use a paper towel, but if you've got an old rag, use that. Then after the wood stain is applied to all of the boards, it does need to cure for 24 hours. So then the next day, I hit it with the polyurethane. I used a satin finish. Now they do have matte finish in polyurethane, but they didn't have it at the hardware store, and I wanted to get everything without having to order anything. Now the satin finish is going to be a lower reflective surface, so a lower shine. And then they have higher shines that come in semi-gloss, gloss, and I think they might even have a super gloss or super glossy. And that applies or refers to the reflectiveness. So I wanted it to be as least reflective as possible. However, the polyurethane will protect your finish. I do have a window right here, so there will be sunlight on a portion of these boards over their lifetime, and that could fade the stain, but that polyurethane will protect it for years to come. Then it's time to hang the boards. So for the first one, I just started back here in the corner. I didn't have to measure anything or use the level. I just pressed it into the corner as hard as I could, making sure it was straight and flush against both walls where they meet in the corner. And then I fastened it in with my 18 gauge brad nailer. A rule of thumb is that you want a brad nail about twice the thickness of the material you're working with. So I used a little less than 2-inch brad nails on these. I played it by ear and used as many brad nails as I needed, spacing them about 8 to 12 inches apart. After I started with the first board, I wanted them to be evenly spaced the same width of the board, so I used a scrap piece of that wood and used it as a spacer. However, about 5 or 6 boards in, I had a happy accident and realized that the level that I was using was the same width as these boards. I didn't plan it, it just happened that way. So then I switched over to just using my level to measure these. Now I did use the level to make sure that everything was leveled both vertically and horizontally. Fastening them in, just using the board before it as my point of reference for how to keep it level, and just fasten it in. It went really quick after I got the hang of it. After about the first 6 boards, I was able to then basically get a system and get these up really quick. A couple things to note, since these boards are so thin and small as far as thickness, they do tend to warp. So I did my best while at the hardware store to keep or buy ones that were as straight as possible. However, I bought them in bundles of 6, so there were a few that were so warped that I was unable to use them. In total, I bought 37 of them, thinking I was going to put up 36 and use that extra 37th one to cut and use as my spacer. So I had about 5 or 6 that were unusable because they were so warped. I did stain them, so I've got them set aside. I'll try to use them for some future project. I don't know what, but they're stored in the garage right now. We'll see if I can use them. But really, that's it. It's really fun, easy, simple. I'll list all of the materials in the description of this video along with the cost, so you can kind of see how much it costs and see if it's worth something that you might like to try. I did the math. I saw some of these wood slats that come in a kit that you can buy. It's really easy to calculate that this way saved me a lot of money, but it's up to you, whatever you'd like to do. If you want to make this, it's really easy, it's fun. You'll feel really successful afterwards too, because it is. It's a fun project. After that, you can decorate it how you want. So I'm going to use this as a backdrop for some social media videos that I want to make. However, regardless of that, it's just a fun space. It's great to work in here. This is where my office is. I work from home, so I love being in here now. It's just a bright, finished, good-looking space compared to what it was before. So again, if you like DIY, please feel free to like and subscribe. My name is Drew. I'll see you in the next one.